all of these headlines that we've been discussing are evidence that the Bible is true because we're moving in that general direction. When you start looking at the percentages of items or consumable items being affected by those manufactured in China, that number goes through the roof when we talk about medicinal purposes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There is so much medicine. I remember when the former president of the United States talked about needing to build our own infrastructure for the support of manufacturing and research of medicine, and everybody called him nuts until all that craziness happened with the sickness and the pandemic and all the other crazy things that have happened. People don't get this, that when we talk about the initiation of something so terrible by a nation like China, that a lot of that was economic warfare as well. That was their attempt to be able to save their dying and explosively destructive economy. And they did a pretty good job of doing that, at least deferring it a little bit.
Yep, they did. And then you go to the other side of the coin. That's the Russia piece, right? And then you look at the fact that Putin's just buying his time. He's watching us deplete all of our stuff, sending it to Ukraine, and it just gets torn to shreds when it gets there. They can't get more. Ukraine's going to burn through everything they got, and we're all going to be standing here looking like, well, who's ponying up the next one? And everybody's going to look at the U.S., but we're all now getting to the point where we don't have the ability to replenish it. And Putin knows that. And so he's just like, I'll just keep, that's why I throw all my junk out on the battlefield to begin with. Let that stuff go bad. And then from there, when things go hot, I'm going to pull out all my good equipment.
You are so dead on. And I don't think people even realize it. I mean, we haven't even, when you're looking at your charts, Monkey, do you see any evidence of Putin recently or in the near past deploying any of his prime assets?
No, other than he put some hypersonics and missiles in Kaliningrad. He's put some nukes in Belarus. But other than that, no.
It's amazing when you think about that. Like, I don't think people realize. And then to hear the propagandist discussions going on about the Kremlin mourning the loss, like taking a bad hit of, this many soldiers and so on and so forth. Even if the exaggerated numbers that they're throwing out of, 25,000 Russian soldiers being lost in a single day or whatever, if that is a reality, then there are darn near 1 million plus that have died in Ukraine. People don't understand just how dominant Russia has been in all of this. When the United States can put $200+ billion into the so-called defense of a nation, which, by the way, represents almost double the defense budget of the nation attacking Ukraine, and still not prevail, there's a bigger picture here. There's all kinds of corruption happening. And that's the thing. And I was particularly disgusted listening to this guy telling everybody that we have to sacrifice our children.
Yeah.
Who wants a third world war? Would anyone Would anyone be willing to accept that risk? The U.S. is never going to give up on the NATO member states. If it happens so that Ukraine, due to various opinions and weakening and depleting of assistance, loses, Russia is going to enter Baltic states, NATO member states, and then the U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters exactly the same way as we are sending their sons and daughters to war, and they will have to fight.
You saw it in Vietnam, right? People they don't want their kids to go. Especially in a war we don't agree with, that we don't support, we don't, it's you're not dying for your country, you're dying for somebody else's country. And that's the thing that's the key difference here. When it comes to the Russian equation, I mean, go look at Putin right now. He just ordered another 400,000 soldiers through his draft. Another 400,000. So he's up to he's at almost 1.5 million.
Well, and the perception that people have about what's happening in Ukraine is that all the Ukrainians are resisting this. And what people don't realize is there are so many people right now, and a large percentage of people that live in Ukraine that are sympathizers for Russia. And many of those are actually those that would desire the reunification of what was formerly understood or known as the USSR. And I don't think that people recognize how serious that is.